All right. So I've never done this before, but I've been a guest on a couple of friends' podcasts. So I kind of understand the format a little bit. This is Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm? The podcast hosted by me, Sienna Riehle. And today I'm joined by
your mama,
whose name is
Gabby Riehle.
Okay, great. Welcome, Gabby Riehle. We're happy that you're here. By we, I mean me, because it's just the two of us.
And the kitties.
And the kitties. So tell the folks listening at home or in their car or at their desk at work a little bit about you. Who are you? What's your deal?
I am your mama.
Mm-hmm. Period. Okay, great.
Like what? Like my background?
What do you do?
Okay, well, I am an educator.
Great.
I was
and we're going to be educating the masses today, so that's why I had you on.
I am an 11-year teaching veteran. I am a 3-year intervention specialist working in my district. And I help teachers and campuses help students who need more or different in their learning.
I love that. Gabby Riehle. Gabby, she's a talker, really like the question.
Exactly.
I forgot to introduce myself. That's my whole bit, is that I'm Sienna, like the minivan, really like the question, and I forgot to say it.
Well, you did.
Did I?
No, you just did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. She's very supportive. What is your relationship status?
Married.
To whom?
To your dad. My
brag. My parents are still together. Brag.
Yes, for the last 31 years. This year I'll be 32. He's the love of my life.
Wow.
We have it seems like a blink of an eye, but I know we've been through a lot. We've grown up a lot together. And I think one of the reasons that we have been together so long, and I've talked to him about that, is that you and Elle have been such great kids. And I think we haven't had to deal with a lot of kid drama.
Okay.
And I think that has helped us.
Call out some of your friends who have had to deal with some kid drama live on the pod, if you would.
Well,
no, don't do that.
Not by name, but I mean, just where
not by anything.
You all have helped us stay together by being such good kids.
Oh my God. So really, you kind of owe your whole marriage to me and my sister, is what you're saying.
And the sexiness of your father.
Gross. No, that's great. That's great. Very happy for you and Dad. Are you familiar with the meme? Earlier, Mom asked me if she was going to cry on this podcast, and I said absolutely not. And now I'm kind of thinking maybe
I will.
I thought you would a minute ago. I heard you choke up a little bit. I was like, uh-oh. Here we go. Are you familiar with this meme, Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm?
I am.
How are you familiar with the meme?
Through you.
Only through
Well, you put it on my radar, and then I started noticing different meme-like things. And that I've sent you.
You sent me a couple. You have. How would you describe? Like, what is it? If you were to describe to like another Gen Xer or Boomer who's not familiar with the meme, and someone were like, "Would you still love me if I was a worm?" and they're like, "What?" How would you explain it?
Just to me, what it means to me is, would you love me no matter what? Would you love me even if I were a worm? And that's why every time you say that, even when you post it, I'm like, yes, I absolutely would love you if you were a worm. Because I love you so much.
I know, Mom. And I know because I have the receipts. So that's the topic of today's podcast, is that we're going through the receipts and my villain origin story of becoming the Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm person. Back on Monday, May 9th, 2022, I texted you because I saw this on probably TikTok, that people were just texting their their mothers, and also maybe, I think it was just texting their moms. The TikTok I saw, they were texting their moms, because I remember me and my partner at the time both texted our moms. And so here's the text conversation. I texted, Mom, what if I was a bug? And you said, yes, tell me more, which is a very you response. Yes, tell me more. I said, like, if I was a bug, what would you do? And you said, I would put you in the most beautiful terrarium. And I said, aw, with that emoji with the big watery eyes, aw. And you said, what did you think I would do? I said, I don't know. That's why I asked. And you said, LOL. Thoughts, comments.
I would.
This is gotcha journalism at its finest.
I would do that. I would put cute little Mexican sugar skulls in your terrarium and little colorful dangly things in there because you like color. And I would put a black backpack bug size for all your little things.
What kind of bug did you picture when I asked you, what if I was a bug? Like, if I was a bug, what would you do? What kind of bug?
Ooh, I don't think I thought about it.
You just were like, sure, I'll answer.
Generic bug. But now thinking about it, I think you would be like a praying mantis, a badass bug.
And I could see a praying mantis wearing a backpack, so that actually makes sense.
Yeah, wow. And you like green.
That's true. Well, all right, so that leads me into, once again, the villain origin story of me becoming, would you still love me if I was a worm?
This is very interesting because I want to know.
And you're not alone. I don't remember when I heard of this meme, probably also on TikTok, that people were texting their significant others, would you still love me if I was a worm? At the time that I heard of this meme, I was very recently out of a relationship. And actually, it's funny, now that I'm looking at the receipts that I have transcripted and printed out, early May 2022 is when I texted you, Mom, what if I was a bug? And then late August 2022 is when I started texting, as we'll see, the roster at the time. So I don't remember exactly where I heard of this meme, would you still love me if I was a worm? But then the seed was planted, right? The thought was planted in my head that this is a thing that people are doing. So on Thursday, August 25th, 2022, I posted on my Instagram close friends story. Are you familiar with the difference between a close friends story and your regular story on Instagram?
Yeah. I'm not on your close friends story.
For a lot of reasons, you're not on my close friends story. That's true. I posted on close friends. I don't feel well and I'm bored. Should I text the 4 identical white men that I'm dating? Would they still love me if I was a worm?
Okay.
I don't remember if I used the word dating. Loosely.
Seeing.
Sure. Whatever. The overwhelming response was yes. Obviously do that. Do that for the lulz, for the comedy, for the plot. And so I did, and I have their responses. Are you ready? I don't know if I'm ready.
Okay.
To share them with you, but here we are. For the comedy, for the lulz, for the plot, and for the wormianas listening out there. Okay. Later, we need to talk about what we're calling the listeners of this podcast. Ooh. I'm going between wormianas and wormaniacs.
Ooh, okay.
Those were some good suggestions from some friends. Okay.
Gotcha.
Ugh. Okay, I hate this, but here we go. I need a fake name. Do you want me to tell you about this person before you give them a fake name? Okay. So this was like I said, a white man, parentheses, derogatory, that I was seeing at this time. Let's see. He, very much like me, is a musician with a day job, and we met on an app.
Okay.
And it didn't end well. It didn't last long, and it didn't end well. Give me a fake name for this person.
Doughboy?
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay. I was kind of thinking that you would give him a human name.
Okay.
But that is fine.
Oh, like bugs or worms?
No, just like a name for a man.
Okay. Oh.
For a human man.
Okay. Ted.
Okay. Yes, all right. Ted. Fine.
Sorry.
So
I didn't understand this assignment.
I didn't specify. I didn't give you a rubric. Thank you for playing. Okay,
Ted.
So Ted and I have been texting, and Ted said, I think you're really cute. I said, would you still think I was cute if I was a worm? Ted said, I fucked weirder. and then sent a separate text and said, and worst. Not worse, worst. Ted, not the most smartest guy. I said, let's go then, worm emoji. And then Ted said, I'd be down. And that was kind of it.
Okay.
What do you rate that response?
Not bad. It's flirty.
Yeah.
It's flirty.
Flirty is a very kind thing to say. Okay. So we're off to a positive start.
Okay.
Out of the 4, this first one was not bad, flirty. Okay.
Ted.
This next person, this next guy was, again, a white man. Sorry, I'm not going to say derogatory every time. This guy was nice. This was a nice one. Mm-hmm. We also met on an app. He, as far as I know, still has a real job in like a creative field. And was like a musician on the side and actually came to see one of my shows. Some friends will know that sort of infamously, unfortunately, I did break up with him at that show. I didn't know he was coming, Mom. I didn't know he was coming.
Okay.
But he was coming and it was too late. And he wanted to be way more serious than like I was ready for. Wish him all the best. Truly hope he's doing well. Give me a fake name for this nice white man.
Clint.
And this is funny because I do have a friend named Clint and this is not him. Okay. So that's how we know this is for sure a fake name.
Okay.
So we were not already having a conversation. I texted him out of the blue. I texted fake Clint, would you still want to hang out with me if I was a worm? And Clint said, a worm? I didn't respond. Clint said, I mean, I don't know what we'd do, but sure. Clint also said, but like if I was a worm too, I'd be down to do worm shit. And I said, okay, fair. Rate this response, fake Clint's response.
I think it's cute. I think it's cute. I really appreciate the fact that he said, I don't know what we'd do, but sure. We're in this together, right? If I'm a worm, he's like, I don't really get it, but okay. Uh-huh. And I like that he was like, okay, let me get on your level. I'm also a worm. I didn't want to push it and be like, okay, but what if I was a worm and you weren't a worm? This was not that deep. Right. Okay. Exactly. First response.
Yeah. And that was fine. Okay. This next one I'm also not that proud of, but okay, so this one was actually at the time a friend of mine, and we started seeing each other very casually, and that's all I'll say because you know too many people that I know.
Yes,
and it's not the one that you're thinking of.
Okay, that's fine.
Give me a fake name for this person.
George.
George, great. We're doing great. We had, who's the first? Ted, Clint, and George. Yes. Okay, monosyllabic. I love a pattern. I love a theme. Okay, I texted this one, again, also out of the blue. And I hate that I started it this way because it's giving insecure. But guess what? I was. And guess what? We live and we learn, right? We grow through what we go through. Anyway, I said, assuming you like me, off to a bad start, assuming you like me, would you still like me if I was a worm? And George said, yes. That's it.
Period. The end.
Not even a period. Just the word. Yes, it said. I said worm emoji, fingers pointing at each other emoji, like this. And then George said thumbs up emoji, worm emoji.
Okay, cute.
I want to note 2 things about this. The note is that this is a white man who chronically uses the tan hand emojis, which I find a little cringy.
Well, but I did too.
Yeah, but you're not white.
I know.
Well,
I
you're
change
not
it depending.
White,
I change it depending on the season. Like during the winter, I have the whiter emoji. During the summer, depending on the color, my tanning shade, then I'll change it.
That's funny. See, I want to avoid all of that, so I just use the yellow ones. I use the emoji color ones. Not the human skin color.
I didn't know
ones.
that yellow was emoji
It's
color.
like the default.
Okay.
Well, okay. Then maybe I'll give this person a break. I'll give George a break on the tan. I don't know, but non-ethnic white people out there using the tan emojis, just know I judge you a little bit. I'm gatekeeping. Anyway, I also want to note that George, when we saw each other in person later that day, said very, very earnestly, hey, sorry we're feeling like a worm.
Oh.
So that was very sweet. They did not know that it was a meme. And I then had to explain, like, no, it's a meme. And then I showed them some TikTok examples. So, okay, simply the response was just yes. And then later, sorry, you were feeling like a worm. How do you rate this response?
I think it's very empathetic. I mean, not knowing who this person is, or maybe knowing, but not knowing who you're talking about. I think it's very empathetic. It's, that person cared that day.
And I agree with that. Ted, the response was not great, flirty. Oh, not bad, flirty. Who was the second one?
Clint,
fake Clint. Response was cute.
Yeah.
And then George, empathetic, sweet, cared that day. And that is so true. The last one, Mom, this one's a roller coaster. This one, no. when I start a merch store for this podcast, I'm starting an unhinged texts I have received from men section. I'm going to make stickers or something. I don't know. We'll see. I have a lot of big plans. Anyway.
Love it.
So this guy, this is the last one. And this was also, like, I'm reading these to you in chronological order of the responses I received. This is the last one, and this is what made me go, okay, I can never do this ever again. I'm playing a game of ask stupid questions, get stupid answers.
Okay.
This was a man who has a very stable job, a homeowner, owns a house.
Nice.
Was kind of boring, but, like, we had good conversations, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And it sort of just, like, kind of fizzled out. Didn't last very long. Didn't end very well or very poorly. Just kind of ended.
Okay.
Give me a fake name for this last guy.
Roger.
Okay. We're branching off a little bit. And I think that's appropriate. Okay, here we go. I texted Roger, would you still talk to me if I was a worm? Notice I used a different intro for all these guys, because I was like, we're for sure not, like, in love. We're not dating. I didn't want to say, would you like me if I was a worm? Because I'm like, I don't even know if this guy likes me. Here we go. Would you still talk to me if I was a worm? Roger said, immediately started asking questions. Are you an anthropomorphic worm? Like a witch turned you into a worm and you can still talk and stuff? Or are you a worm with worm faculties?
Okay.
I said, like, I got turned into a worm. I'm still me, but I'm just worm emoji. Roger said, what am I supposed to do with you as a worm? Keep you as a pet? That seems kind of fucked up. I said, LOL, so what would you do? Roger says, if you had the mind of a worm and I didn't know you used to be a person, I'd probably release you into the yard. And then on a step within the same text, but on a different paragraph, said, if you knew that you used to be Sienna, but now you're trapped inside a worm, IDK, I'd probably put you out of your misery.
It was kind of nerdy at first, but then it took a turn.
Immediately we put you out of your misery.
I mean, even you as a worm, not knowing you were Sienna, would be put out into the yard like a worm, but the other way. He would
squish me right away.
Wow.
So I kept going. I said, damn, ask stupid questions, get stupid answers, I guess, LMAO. Roger said, haha, there's just a lot of logistics to be worked out. To which I replied, I love that you skipped straight to mercy killing, though. LOL, I'm glad I asked. And then in a separate text, I said, if I ever get turned into a worm, I will go to you as a last resort. Skull emoji, worm emoji, tombstone emoji.
Great.
But he kept going, Mom.
Okay.
Roger keeps going. He says, why would you want to be trapped in a worm? That's a miserable existence.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
That you wouldn't want to be trapped in a worm. Like, you wouldn't want to be a worm. It's just a rhetorical question.
Right. So you would just kill me right away? You know, is where I'm going. So then I started to get a little mad, a little defensive. I said, what if it's only temporary? With two question marks. What if it's only temporary? Roger said, this is why I need to know the logistics. Is this a Howl's Moving Castle scenario where you can be changed back? I said, you can never know for sure with these things. Roger said, how would we even know for sure that the worm was you? I said, I feel pretty confident that I could at least communicate that much to you somehow. And I do feel that way. I feel like if I got turned into a worm, I would be able to somehow communicate to somebody like I'm not supposed to be a worm. I feel pretty strongly that I have that capability. Roger said, why is this worm following me around? LOL. So now I'm just a worm. I'm just this worm to this man. He said, why is this worm following me around? LOL. Again, separate paragraph, same text. Sidebar, I was typing an email and I almost sent 10 a.m. would worm for me. And I said, good. Again, I was a little mad. Okay, how do you rate Roger's response?
Again, nerdy at first.
Parentheses, derogatory.
Which, well, no. I mean, maybe he reads a lot of fiction and fantasy.
Apparently not. He didn't even consider turning me back into a human.
That's true. So, yeah, I don't know.
Bad.
That one,
not good.
Not great.
Not good. I didn't even do this as what they call a vibe test.
Sure.
I didn't even mean for this to be a vibe test. And Roger immediately failed the vibe test. The vibe check. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Immediately failed the vibe check. Ted, Clint, and George, they all did okay.
Okay.
At least.
Sure.
Roger, bad.
You know what? Now I'm wondering, what would Dad have said?
Have you ever asked him?
That? No.
Do you want to ask him?
No, he's asleep.
He's working tonight.
Yeah. But he's not always romantic with his responses when I'm doing a vibe check.
Be honest, do you think he would put you out of your misery?
When I'm fishing for compliments, I have to be careful with the response or how I take the response.
He's very literal.
He can be. I mean, he is romantic every now and then, and it really floors me and just, it's beautiful and amazing, and I feel so loved. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, okay, never mind.
I'm shaking my head for the listeners at home. I'm SMH my head,
and it's not schma.
It's not. It's SMH. It's not schma. Just like the title of this podcast is "Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm?" Not "Will You Slimiwa."
Right.
Right. Well, Mom, what do you think? This is what began, and I posted screenshots with the names blacked out.
Sure.
So nobody knew who I was talking about, even if they knew who was on the roster. They didn't know who I was talking about. I posted little screenshots on my close friend's story, and then I had like one or two people send me things the next couple of days being like, oh, I saw this meme and I thought of you. And it was always like a person asking their partner, would you still love me if I was a worm? Or in one case, a worm asking their worm partner, would you still love me if I was a human? Things like that. And so then I started posting those on my public story.
Yeah.
And then that got even more attention from my friends and more memes ensued. And the rest is history.
I love it. So cute.
Your face is not really saying you love it. Your face is saying it's the grimace emoji and not the smiley emoji.
Oh my gosh.
It's the one where the teeth are like, ooh. That's what your face is saying.
That's not what my heart is saying.
Oh. Awesome. Well, Mom, that's kind of it. That's all I had planned for you today.
Great.
Any final comments, questions, or concerns?
No, I would love you if you were a worm.
Thank
just
you.
For the record.
And Mom, I would love you if you were a worm.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I would put you in a little cute jar, terrarium.
I think I would have a lot of hair if you were a worm.
Yeah, do you think you would be like a fuzzy caterpillar situation? An asp?
I think
maybe
so. This is yes, lots of hair on the crown.
Interesting. I meant to mention this earlier when you were talking about how you're married to my father. I saw a tweet, a good friend of mine sent it to me. I'll have to find it because I think it said something like, I can tell that your parents are still together, parentheses, insult. And unfortunately, I think that is me. Well, Mom, Gabby, do you have anything to plug? Any final words for the audience?
Just listen. I want to really listen to the rest of your podcast.
I hope it's good.
Anything by you is good.
I can't wait to hear it myself.
I listened to a couple of your other podcasts just searching for you on Spotify.
Shout out to Musical Minutes with John and John.
Yes.
John, Noreen, and I did an episode about the musical Rent.
And the whole time I was just glued to your voice and thought, she is so smart.
Thanks, Mommy.
Well, I can't wait to listen to you more.
Aw. Thanks, Mom. Well, that's it, everybody. Bye.
Bye.